Hi everyone, I'm FM Greeno and welcome to day 2 of Help Will Come Tomorrow. This is a survival type game set in Siberia, 1917, revolutionary Russia, and a gang of bandits have attacked the train these guys were travelling on. They managed to escape, get into the woods and set up a little camp. Our job is to try and make sure that they survive until help arrives. Let's get into the episode. So if you saw day 1, you'll know that we've already met all 4 of the characters here. We have Sir Edward Grey. He is an English aristocrat of some sort or another. Maria, who was a maid working on the train. We have Dmitri here, member of the aristocracy, also a military leader. And young Sergei Ivanov, who apparently used to be a soldier. We don't know too much about any of them yet. We'll find out more as the game goes along. We have this little camp. We have various different action areas that we need to try and build things. One of the first that we really need to try and take care of is this quarantine point. It's a medical area because poor old Dmitri here has got a twisted ankle. So we need to try and get him sorted out a little bit. Now you'll notice here on the left hand side each of the characters with the number of action points they have for today. The maximum you can have is 3. Unfortunately, Maria only has 2 today. Her morale is low and therefore she lost an action point. You can also see here various little traits about the characters. So you can see Maria here is hungry and fatigued. As we know, Dmitri has his twisted ankle. He is also hungry. Everybody's hungry. A little bit of thirst here from Sir Edward Grey, but everyone else is okay. Sergei has a big hunger. Now, we don't have an awful lot at this point to be able to feed the guys, but we'll try and take care of some of this. I think it might improve their morale for the day's tasks. So water comes over to Sir Edward Grey. He's the only thirsty one. That's quenched his thirst. You can see that little icon has gone away. Now everyone is hungry. All we really have at this stage is some beans, some bugs, edible root, which will cause indigestion. So who fancies some bugs? Sergei, you're the hungriest of the lot. That's taken him from a big hunger down to just hungry. Okay, well that's not a bad start, I suppose. What else can we do here? You fancy some edible root? Maybe Maria will have some too. What else can we do? You can have some bugs, Sir Edward Grey. And that's completely taken away his hunger. So that will have improved things for everybody. Maria, like I say, her morale is quite low. She's at 45. It's gone up a little bit in the night, but we're going to have to be very careful with her during the day today. Now, in order to build things around here, we need various resources. As you can see here, these are the resources we've amassed so far. Not too much, really. So, for example, if we want to take care of this quarantine point area, we're going to need 22 needles. We only have 12. We're going to need some canvas. We don't, or any other, rags, that sort of stuff. Don't have any of that. And we definitely don't have enough wood. So, we're going to need to send an expedition out. Now, I don't really want Maria to go on there. She gets tired very easily. Obviously, Dimitri's got his injured ankle, so he's probably best not to go out. So I think Sir Edward Grey and Sergei are going to team up and go for a little expedition. So if we come up here to the top left, the expedition area, you can see here is where our camp is, this tile in the middle, and as things stand we have 6 tiles around us that we can go and explore. Now each one tells you the danger level associated with going there, and of course as we haven't explored anywhere yet we don't know what resources might be available in any of them. So these down here are average danger level, so I think we're going to give them a miss for today. Maybe we'll come up in one of these sort of directions and see what we can find up here. So what we need to do is we need to pop Sir Edward Grey in here. We're going to bring Sergei as well. And we don't have anything that they can take with them as the game develops. Obviously when we start to make tools and things like that, there will be things that will be of use to them going out on little expeditions. Maybe a sack to carry something in, or some kind of hunting weapon of sorts, a bow and arrow or something like that. But of course we don't have anything yet, so they're just going to have to go out and see what they can scavenge with their bare hands. So, where are we going to send them? We have, you know, nothing about any of these areas, so let's just pick this one. So you can see they've both lost an action point in going out on this expedition. They're in a glade with toadstools currently, so let's search and see what they can find. So they've got some moss, some poisonous mushrooms, edible root, and a pine cone. Not the most exciting haul, but as you can see, that's now opened up a few additional tiles around here. So this is risky down here, so we're definitely staying away from there. So I think we'll head up this way. We'll just open up some more of the map for now. So they've now moved into a spruce grove. So let's have a search and see what they can find here. So this isn't so bad. Some sticks, some bark, berries, more poisonous mushrooms, and a few needles. So we'll take all of that. Luckily they didn't use any action points with that movement. So again, we don't really want to go into these averagely dangerous areas. Maybe we'll come up here where the danger level is easy. We're in Fell Pine area. Okay, let's have a search here. See what we can find. So Sir Edward Grey did lose an action point in searching, but we've got a lot more wood in this area, so we'll take all of that. I think we're going to keep going on our expedition. Come down in this direction. Don't want to stray too far from the camp in these early stages. Another search here. So what have we got here? Some needles, that's very helpful. A bit more bark, some bugs, and some proper mushrooms. So again, we'll take all of this. I think maybe we'll try one more tile. Here we go. So we can see down here, this is where the train track is. You can start to see the wreck of the train that was attacked. I guess it's all risky down here because the rebels are likely to still be about. So this is probably going to be the last place that we search today, I think. Let's see what we can find here. What have we got? Some sticks, some pine cones, bugs, needles, psychedelic mushrooms, and normal mushrooms. So we'll take all of that. I think that's probably enough for us to return to the camp now. A decent little haul, I think. And we've still got a few action points left around the camp to do things. So I wonder whether we've brought enough back with us to actually do any construction whatsoever. Now I know here we needed some material, didn't we? And we haven't found any of that out on our travels today. So the quarantine point is something that's going to have to wait. Shelter, I think, also needs material. It does. So we're stuck with either the workbench. We don't have enough string to be able to do that. We need 6 pieces of string. We only have 1. So it looks like a palisade might be the thing for us to try. So let's see if we have enough here to be able to do that. So stones. We have enough to be able to build that. Wood, what do we have? We've got a lot of sticks, so we can use those. Okay, that's good. So I seem to remember from day 1, Dimitri is good at construction tasks. So we'll ask him to come and do that, and maybe we'll bring... Well, they don't like each other very much, but that's okay. But maybe they can work together. There we go. They've built a fence. You can see this rudimentary fence that's built there. How that helps with visibility, I'm not quite sure, because it looks a bit more visible than not being there. So we found out Sergei is a trapper. He has a chance to regain points from the setup tracks action, and the snares set by them have a better chance of capturing animals. So we'll bear that in mind for later in the game once we're setting traps for things. Okay, so we've managed to build one thing. Now I do wonder, with the action points we've got left, what is the most appropriate thing we can do? Now, I think this fraternization thing is going to be a helpful thing, so maybe we'll get some people down here to do that. I guess it kind of makes sense for these two, seeing as they've got the most action points. They really don't like each other at this point, but maybe a little bit of fraternization will actually help. Let's see. Let's increase their friendship a little bit. Yeah, I think that was a good move to get them to have a little chat together. So we're going to need to chuck a bit more on the fire. Again, we've got to be very mindful of this camp visibility. We do not want the rebels coming and finding us. But we've got some cones here, so we can stick a little bit on the fire. Get it up to 16%. That hasn't increased the visibility any, so that's good. Camp morale isn't too bad, 68%. Let's look where everyone else is. So 45 still for Maria. Dimitri's is high, as is Sir Edward Grey. Sergei is struggling. He's not a happy boy. I think maybe he needs another smoke. Let's give him a cigarette. That's gonna help his morale a little bit. Let's see how much that takes that up. Up to 32, so that's not a huge amount. But I wonder again if we can get him to fraternize with somebody, and then we can maybe filter some water and dish out a little bit more food that we found today to keep everybody happy. So let's get... Who can we get to come and fraternize here? Try and get Sergei, because we could do with something that improves his morale a little bit. Maybe Sir Edward Grey. Yeah, there's no issues between those two at this point. So, camp morale has increased with that action. That's good. Maria, can you come and filter some water for us, my dear? I think you probably can. Go, so she's done that. 3 more water for us. Come in handy, and we have just the 1 action point left. So I think again with Dimitri, we're probably going to do exactly the same. It's always useful to have plenty of water kicking around, so we'll get him to come up and do that as well. There we go, that's used his last action point up. But we now have 9 water here. Nobody at the moment is thirsty. We do still have a bit of hunger around. Let's see if we can cure that. Someone might fancy a mushroom. Who fancies a mushroom? Sergei looks like he'd like a mushroom. Oh, now this is good. An iron stomach. He can digest almost anything. Indigestion and poisoning lasts for a shorter time. Okay, so if supplies start to get short, he can eat some of the less palatable food around. Yeah, plenty of bugs for young Sergei. So who else is hungry now? We still have Dimitri and Maria. And I tell you what, we're going to be kind to these guys. Some berries. Now that hasn't completely sated Dimitri, so what else can he have? We're not going to waste all the good food on him. Bit of moss, and that's completely taken away his hunger. So has that actually improved morale with these guys any? I think it has a little bit, hasn't it? So... Okay, so there's not much more we can do right now. All the action points are used. Everyone's pretty well fed and watered. It's time to get into the night time and see what conversations people would like to have. Okay, so I think what we'll probably do is we will have one person making an introduction and one of these others. So we've got let's seek a better shelter or let's wait for the patrol. I think let's seek a better shelter is a good one. Listen, I have an idea. The tracks on this section have been built recently, and every few dozen versts there should be a hut of workers who are cutting down the railroad ties. Don't know what that means. Perfect idea. So we just have to explore the area within dozens of versts, right? Don't be mean. Explore it yourself if you want to. If you raised a finger to do a decent job, you might know that it's worth checking the tracks. She's giving as good as she gets. There are no loggers' huts by the tracks. But there are markings for the commissioners. The mile marking on one of the ties should tell us where to look for the workshop. So Maria is thinking, okay, so what's he going to say? Do you know what? We're going to go with a positive response. Now you're talking. So let's check the tracks immediately. Such a forest hut will not only be a better shelter, but probably some equipment has been left in it. Why are you talking about it just now? I talk all the time, but nobody is listening to me. Okay, well that's given us a task here to undertake. Finding the woodcutter's markings on the railway decks. We have 8 days to do that. Obviously that's something that we're going to have to do down by the railway line. A bit risky getting down there, as you remember. But hopefully we'll survive doing so. Okay, and who are we going to hear from now? Let's hear from Sir Edward Grey. We've not heard anything from him. Bloody hell, what an adventure! Almost like in 1910, when Azerbaijani fighters derailed my train. Or as on Wadi Halfa in 1902. Only then, it was the boiler that exploded. Have you participated in many rail disasters, mister? Grey. Edward Grey. Indeed, I have had many adventures. I try to avoid only those in which nobody survives. Ha ha ha. Well, at least he's in good spirits and joking about what's going on. No one seems to like him still. Maybe they're a little bit dubious of him because he's not one of the locals. Again, that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on in terms of who works with him, in terms of morale, etc, etc. So, that's the end of the day. Camp morale has dropped a little bit, I noticed there. But we have improved Maria's morale enough that she has got her full 3 action points today. Earlier on, she only had 2 action points for this day's activities. So that's good. If we can keep all of them with 3 action points, obviously the more action points, the more we can achieve. So let's make sure no disasters have befallen the camp in the night. No, everything looks pretty good here. The palisade, the fence is still up, the fire is still going. No snow anywhere. Everything's looking pretty good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Day 2 went pretty well, I think, all things considered. We found a bit of food. We just need to get out again today and find a bit more in terms of structural material that we can actually start building some of the points around the camp that we need to. If you have enjoyed it, please drop a like on there for me. And if you've got any comments about this episode, the series as a whole, the game, if you've played it, any hints or tips for me, I would love to see them in the comments section below. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. There's plenty of room here on the Greeno bus for you all. It just remains for me to thank you for watching, and I will see you soon for day 3 of Help Will Come Tomorrow. Bye for now.